Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the brand Rephr. So if you guys have never heard of Rephr, they are a natural haired brush line, and the brand actually started with 3 engineers, and they had no makeup background. They had no experience in making brushes. It was just something that was very intriguing to them. They did a lot of research on these brushes. They sent out thousands of prototypes all across the world, getting 4,000 individual feedback so that they could create really good brushes that were usable for makeup artists and also the everyday person. So that's what I think is really amazing about this brand, is they took all of that feedback and they went in and created these brushes, and I think it's incredible. In fact, I had the honor of meeting one of those engineers. He is a co-owner of Rephr Brushes. His name is Tom. He actually flew all the way from Canada to meet me, which was really cool. He flew into Utah, you know, took an Uber to my little old town, and we went to lunch, and it was a wonderful meeting, and it was great to just sit and talk and hear his story and hear how they started. And they have a lot of passion in what they're doing, and they've spent a lot of research, a lot of money researching these brushes. And what I also love about these brushes is now the sets are available and you can customize your own set. So as you guys probably know, several months ago what they did was a Kickstarter program. And the Kickstarter was, you could buy these brushes for, a certain amount of money, but they were only asking for, your feedback in return. So the Kickstarter program was really, really helpful for them to take that feedback and create brushes that were, usable and that what people wanted. So I have, I think, pretty much all of the brushes, maybe minus 1 or 2, but I have been playing with these brushes, and I really want to go through each one of them, giving you guys my experience with them and what I use them for. The thing that I will say about, you guys know I love the brand Sonia G. I love her brushes. They were my first experience in, natural haired brushes, and some of Sonia's are, dyed goat hair. Some of them are undyed goat hair. These are actually all undyed goat hair. You can use them on liquid, cream, or powder, either one. Now, the thing that I will say that is different about this set compared to the Sonia G set is that they're customizable. When you buy a set, you always run the risk of buying 5 brushes and maybe only using 4 out of the 5. For example, this brush came in the Pro Face set. This is the Sonia G Detail Pro. I love my Sonia G brushes. I will love them till the day I die, but I don't use this brush. So this brush was kind of a waste in the Pro Face set. For me personally, it's not a brush that I reach for very often. And we all apply makeup differently, and we all use brushes very differently. With Rephr brushes, you get to actually customize your set. So you get to choose which brush you want, and it's incredible. So let's go ahead and get started with, I'm going to leave all of the information to Rephr in the description box down below, so you can do your research and, learn more about the brand and learn more about their experience and the programs that they use to create these brushes. Okay, so let's start with the Bespoke program. I'm gonna read off what he sent to me because it's information that I wanna make sure is correct. One of the most valuable pieces of insight we learned early during our prototype program is that all of our tester facial features and makeup preferences are different. This meant that if we wanted to create the perfect brush collection, each set had to be fine-tuned to fit each person's specific needs. The Bespoke program is our solution to help everyone build their own perfect brush set with Rephr. At a high level, people are now able to customize their set of 6 brushes for $168. And immediately after they order, we will send them a $100 store coupon so they can redeem even more brushes that fits their needs. We'll then send the order to Japan to be handmade to order and ship to their door in 10 to 12 weeks. You can redeem the $100 coupon for brushes that are in stock or to put towards the holiday sets that will ship right away. Also, if you are not in a rush, we have a buy one get one free option on all individual brushes that will ship in 10 to 12 weeks. If you're not in a hurry to get those brushes in your hand immediately, you can use that $100 to buy any of the brushes that are extra on top of what set you chose. You can buy one, get one free. That's gonna go a really long way, especially on like the little brushes for the eyes and stuff. So you're getting a lot of brushes for $168. You're getting 6 brushes for $168. So then you're getting an extra $100 that you can use that coupon towards anything you want. If you want to get brushes right away, you can use that $100 to buy brushes and have them shipped immediately. Or you can use that $100 to buy to made to order, but you can get a buy one, get one free option. So let's get into the customizable options. Through repeated testings with the beauty community, we found 3 important factors that heavily influence whether a makeup user enjoys using a brush. We are making these things customizable via the Bespoke program, so you can build the brush set that fits your needs perfectly. You can choose your handle style. We're letting people choose between our signature matte black or a pro-oriented long handle and silver with a glossy black. So then you have the makeup style. We created a denser and more pigmented version of the number 5 brush, calling it brush number 24. So brush number 24, it's shorter, denser, and more substantial. We think number 5 is more well-rounded, but we do know that there are people out there who do enjoy a more impactful cheek brush. So this is the difference between the 05 and the 24. So the 24 is what I've been using for my foundation, and I'm obsessed with it. This is one of my new favorite brushes to apply my foundation. Now, I'm going to get into all of the applications later on in the video, but this is the difference between the 05 and the 24. The 24 is a little bit wider than the 05, and it's a little bit more short and stubbier. This one kind of comes and tapers up, as you can see. They're very similar, but very different at the same time. So you can choose your own style, which brush you're gonna like more. Number 3, your eye shape. So we fine-tuned 3 different brushes that will work well with 3 most common eye shapes. The number 1 for monolid. So this is the number 1. This is a brush that works better for a monolid. The brush number 14, which is this brush works well for hooded eyes. The brush number 15, which works better for people with larger lid space, which would be me. I have a larger lid space. This is with all of the feedback they found that a brush like this would work better with people who have more landscape like I do. There are some holiday sets, which right now, if you buy a holiday set, you will get the bronzer brush, which is a $100 bronzer brush for free with any holiday set, which this is my favorite brush of all time. Out of every brush I own, it doesn't matter, out of all my eye brushes, out of all of my face brushes, this bronzer brush knocked my socks off. Like when I first used this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the brush that I have been waiting for. Out of all of the brushes that I've used to apply my bronzer, none of them work like this one. It's so good, you guys. I love this brush. This is my favorite brush. Out of every brush I own, this is my favorite brush. We think by offering these customizable options plus the $100 coupon, it'll allow most people to build their very first personalized brush set that works specifically for them. Plus, with the spend $168, you get the $100 back, which is amazing. We think this is a deal worthy of the legendary American Black Friday. So let's get into the brushes and how I like to use them. I will leave all of this in the description box down below. So if I like a brush for foundation, I will put what number it is. The brush that I like to apply my blush with, I will put what number it is, just so that it's easier for you guys to keep track of which brushes I like to use to apply which product or whatever. We're gonna first start with the brush that I like to use for my foundation. I do have this one from Sonia G. This is the base one, and I like this brush, but I feel like it's a little bit too small, and I like to apply my foundation a little bit quicker than I do with this brush. I was using my IT Cosmetics brush, and I still really do love this brush. This one applies foundation like a dream. This one is the Heavenly Luxe number 7 brush. I really love this one. I am losing my voice. I love this brush. Like, he gave this to me at my meeting, and I've used it pretty much every day since I got it. So this is a fantastic foundation brush. Again, that is the 24. Next up, my other favorite brush is the number 17. This one is the one I have been using. You guys have seen me use this one. This one is the prototype. So the difference between the prototype is, first, this one's been washed. This one is brand new. I've never used it. So you can see the difference on how it splays after it's been washed and used. This one is brand spanking new. This is number 17. And as you'll see in the clip, I love to use this brush to stipple out the contour, and just like, I kind of just do this stippling motion, and it will just blend cream contour like a dream. If you're like me and you love a cream contour, this brush is like a necessity. You will absolutely love the way that this blends out cream contour. It blends it out in a very soft, effortless way. And if you wanted to use this for powder contour, you totally could. I think this is the perfect contour brush, in my opinion, just because it's small enough to do that more detailed work. But whether you're using a cream or a dry, because it's undyed goat hair, you can use it with cream or dry. Whatever you're using, I love this brush for contour. This one is hands down my new favorite. The next one is my bronzer brush. This is my holy grail. This is my favorite brush of all time. Out of every brush I own, it doesn't matter, out of all my eye brushes, out of all of my face brushes, this bronzer brush knocked my socks off. Like, when I first used this, I was like, oh my gosh. This is the brush that I have been waiting for. Out of all of the brushes that I've used to apply my bronzer, none of them work like this one. Now, if you don't want to use this for bronzer, you could totally use this for powder brush. Either way, this brush is going to be workable. This is one of those brushes that everybody needs something like this in their collection. For me, it just happens to be bronzer that this works best for, but you don't have to use it for bronzer. You can totally use it for powder. It's so good, you guys. I love this brush. This is my favorite brush. Out of every brush I own, this is my favorite brush. This one is the number 4. For those of you that like your blush in a certain area, let's just say that you like to go above your contour and bronzer like most makeup artists recommend to apply your blush. This just really allows you to get a nice clean application and apply the blush exactly where you want it, versus a bigger brush like the Enriched, which is one of my other favorite brushes that I like to use for the blush. This one is a little bit harder to get it in a more direct area. This one is smaller, and it definitely has that nice angle to it, so you can really get up in there. But this is a really nice blush brush. Let's move on to highlighter. So there are 2 different options for highlighter. So we have the number 20 brush, which is a fan brush. But for those of you that don't like to apply your highlighter with a fan brush, you have an option like this. This one is the number 19 brush. This one reminds me of the pointed highlighter brush from Sigma. Sigma one is a little bit smaller, but it kind of tapers up. So the brush hairs kind of come up, but it also tapers. You can really apply a nice even application for highlighter using this number 19 brush. This one would also be nice to apply powder like right underneath your eye, because it does have that point on it. So you can, you know, kind of get right up underneath there. I personally like using this one for powder underneath my eyes. This one is the number 18 brush. I like to grab my Charlotte Tilbury powder and just kind of dust it right up underneath there. I think they're both really, really good brushes, but I think it's going to be based on preference. So like I said, if you like a tapered brush for highlighter, then I recommend the 19. If you need a brush for right there where you want to apply powder right there on your pores or right underneath your eyes, the number 18. That's how I've been using them, but they're both, you know, you can kind of switch back and forth between those two. So let's move on to the brushes for the eyes. I have 3 from the Core collection, and then I have these 5 from the Pro collection. So in this image, you're going to see me use the number 12 brush. This and this next one I'm going to talk about, well, the next 2 I'm going to talk about are probably my favorite brushes from any of the eye brushes that I have. This is the number 12 brush. I have been loving this brush to pack shadow here on this outer corner and kind of packing it right there on the crease bone and then using like a crease brush to kind of blend it out. This is a phenomenal packer brush. It's short and stubby, but it's dense enough to really give you the pack that you need. And the way that it picks up the shadow, it's very unique. When I first saw this brush, I was like, what am I going to use this brush for? And now it's become one of my favorites. Okay, then next we're going to move on to this brush. This brush is the number 2 brush from the Core collection. This brush was from the Pro collection. This one is from the Core. I love this brush for my lower lash line. So I have 2 brushes that I love for my lower lash line. This one is a great brush to blow out the lower lash line, and I also like to use this as a packer brush, but this one I love for my lower lash line. In fact, I have 2 of them and they're constantly dirty because I love these brushes. This is one of my favorites. It's small enough, but it still has such a performance to it, and it blends out shadow like amazing. It's such a great brush. This one is more for that detailed. So this one is also from the Core collection. This one is number 3. This one I will use to really bring that color and really do that detail right up against the lash line. That's where this brush comes in handy, especially if you're layering shadow. So if you like to blow out your lower lash line, you could go in with your like transition shade using a brush like this to go in first, and then go in with a brush like this that's a little bit more defined and go in with like a darker color to kind of match your lower lash line to your upper crease. This is a really nice brush to also include for your inner corner highlight. I mean, this one is just a really good brush. It's a brush that you don't think that you need until you get it, and then you absolutely love it and can't live without it. It's one of those brushes. So let's talk about this brush, which is the number 14 brush. This one does remind me of the Sonia G, the new mini booster in the Sky set. I like it. This one is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit longer, and so it really blends, and you can really do some nice like detailed work inside that crease. They created to help those who had, you know, hooded eye to really define the crease. But even though I don't have a hooded eye, I still use this one more so than some of the other crease brushes that they have. I also really love the number 15, which is this one right here. You're gonna be able to go in there and really blend that crease out and really move that shadow. This is gonna give you the more precise application blending inside the crease. And then this one is going to be the one that you're gonna really pack that color on and blend it out. Now the number 16, this one is a little bit too big for me, I will say. I would say this one is very similar to the one from Sonia G in the Pro set. I haven't found a need for the Detail Pro, and that's the same with this one, which is the 16. I think it's just a little bit too big for me. I just haven't really found a need for this one. Now, they also have this one, which is the number 13 brush. If you look at number 13 compared to 14, and these are the details that you're gonna have to know when you're ordering your customizable set. So the 14 is a little bit longer than 13. This one is 13, this one is 14. So you can kind of see the difference between these two. So the 14 is a little bit longer and tapered, and the 13 is a little shorter and kind of cut across. So depending on what you need in, you know, whatever you need or how you like brushes to be shaped in order to really create the crease that you're looking for, then, you know, just notice that that's the major differences between these two brushes. Let's just show you the differences between 13, 14, 15, and 16. So this is 13, 14, 15, and 16. So as you can see, it's like, it's small and then gets larger as you go. So 13 is kind of shorter and stubbier on the top. 14 is a little bit longer, a little bit more tapered. 15 is a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a little more taper to it. And then you have 16, which is the largest of the four. There are a few brushes that I don't use on a daily, but I would say majority of them I do. All of these brushes you're gonna find a way to use them. It just depends on what you need in your brush collection. If I were you, I would go through your brush collection, look to see what's missing, and then build your customizable set from there. But I do appreciate that Rephr is offering a customizable set, or let's just say that you've missed out on a lot of the Sonia G brushes, and you know, you're really interested in buying a really good set of natural haired brushes. I recommend the holiday set, and you can get a bronzer brush for free, which I am obsessed with. This is my favorite brush. These brushes were handcrafted by master artisans in Kimono, Japan. So as we know, Kimono, Japan is like the brush capital of the world, right? They're made at the same places as some of the other high-end brushes that we talk about. The Wayne Goss, the Sonia G, they're all made in that historic town of Japan. Rephr is high quality brushes. These are not low quality brushes. These are very high quality, and they've made these brushes based on all the individual feedback for all different face shapes and eye shapes and preferences, and it's just incredible. They've done an incredible job, and I am so honored to be a part of this. Now, this video is not sponsored. These brushes were sent to me and, you know, to try out and play around with, but this video is not sponsored. I was not sent the brushes and asked to talk about them in return. They just wanted to send them to me and just use them and see if I liked them. And so I'm only bringing these to you guys because I really do love this brand and I really do love these brushes. Definitely head over to their website and check everything out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I will answer them to the best of my ability, and if I don't know, I will ask Tom myself. He is fantastic, you guys. Such a sweet, kind person. So definitely ask any questions that you guys have. I love you all so, so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day filled with love and joy. I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you all so much. Bye!